Live. Okay, wait. Give me a minute. It says this is going live. We're live.
Welcome.
Yo, guys, welcome back to this podcast on Blazing Tech. I'm still trying to get used to this, guys. This is our revamped channel, and here today we're gonna have on our podcast. We have a special guest. His name is
Joe
oh
from Tech We Love.
yeah, he's gonna be out here with us today. Actually, we're gonna be talking about several things. We're talking about understanding of 5G and artificial intelligence, and he would love to share with us his latest tech that he had just received. So, where do you want to get started at, Joe? 5G,
Uh,
artificial, or do you want to talk about what you bought first?
let's talk about what I bought first, just 'cause it's kind of cool. So with the recent illness that's been going around the world, I kind of wanted something to like lift my spirits up. So I decided to splurge on myself. So I recently got the RTX 2060. So I got it. I went for the lower just for the RTX Voice, which you're hearing right now,
Mm-hmm.
because I get stressed out when my family members are like trying to talk to me and then I can't record any videos or I can't do any live streams because my life's not perfect. So you know, so the RTX 2060 is pretty cool.
Interesting. So, what?
I went out from a GTX 1060.
Why did you go from a 10? You said GTX 1060.
Yep.
Why did you go from that to this one?
It was mainly the RTX Voice. I would have skipped the generation. I would have waited to the 30 series, but
Mm-hmm.
because we wanted to do these podcasts, and I just it's been frustrating me for years to be able to like like, it gets to 95 degrees in my room, and right now I have the window open, but you couldn't hear that car that just drove by.
No.
So so that's awesome. I can have the window open and my room can be cooler and you can't hear my family yell, and it just makes my life so much better, you know.
That sounds
So
sweet.
I went for the lowest one that Nvidia said they supported, because I tried like they have like a jailbreak where you can try it with lower cards
Uh
that
huh.
aren't supported, but it was just a mess. It didn't really work that well. And so I went for I wanted the cheapest that they said they support with the drivers, and it works. So it's not perfect, but it works. So it's in beta too. It's not like fully fledged yet. They'll get better.
Ah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And also with new technology, I knew with getting that one that I had the I had been looking at it for like several years. I finally bought a 4K monitor. Um, I bought which one is this? This is the ASUS. It's the 4K. It's 144, but I'm running at 98
Mm-hmm.
uh, frames because it's true. Well, it's not true. It's 10-bit color. It's 8 plus like the attempts at 10-bit color, and I gotta tell you, like I was blown away. Like I had my terrible TN monitor that was a gaming monitor. It was for like 144 frames, and it had G-Sync. So I was like, I got that for like 300 a few years ago, and that was like what I thought was like amazing, right? Get like a high frame monitor and gaming. But I then I had like when I was trying to do like streaming a few years ago, I looked at the other panel I had, which is a VA panel, and I was like, wow, the TN one has like no color compared to the VA, and that VA is at a lower resolution, like 900p, and it's you know, uh, but it had better color, so that was exciting, right? And I was like, I'm kind of getting dull. I don't care about these high frames if my monitor looks like crap. Like it doesn't like give me excited. So I I did a lot of research, and so I got this 4K 10-bit color one. So it like the 1080p ones, the TNs, and like some of the IPS ones, they're like the 8-bit ones are like 11.7 million colors.
Mm-hmm.
This one is like 1.07 billion colors,
Damn.
and it's like HDR certified, and I put it compared to the VA. So you go from the TN, the VA, and then this 10-bit HDR monitor, and the VA looks like it has no color compared to this monitor. So I'm just I'm blown out of the water, right? And I'm looking at it, and the one thing I wanted to really tell you about this is it's almost too much detail for my eyes. Like my eyes, like because of the brightness, right? It's like it's almost like it's too surreal. You know, it's like I don't know how to describe it. It almost seems to have like it doesn't really, but it's like because it has such like the wallpaper that I'm seeing right now that you can't you're not seeing.
Yeah.
If I share my see if I share my screen, let's see share screen. Oh, I can't do that right now. But you would see that the I don't know. It just overwhelms me. So, yeah. So the RTX 2060 and the monitor, and then I'm going to be upgrading. Going to get a new mic. So just a lot of new exciting things that are a lot. I think a lot of people are they're buying things to make themselves feel better when we're all social isolated now. You know.
Yeah. So you
So,
so how much? What was the price on that monitor?
so the price was with tax like 1,090. So it was not cheap, but the monitor used to be $2,000.
Whoa.
So that's a huge decrease. And it was just I looked at it was actually a refurbished one too. And there's no problems with it. I can't see any problems with it. So it actually is selling for like $1,200
Yeah.
without tax. So it'd
Yeah.
be like $1,300 with tax. So I saved about $200.
Yeah. Sometimes you'll get a refurbished that all it is just for the refurbished you're just getting what's that thing called? Some people just buy it and then they just return it. That's all
Yeah,
sometimes
they're
that.
like they're like I can't afford it right now.
Yeah. And they
Somebody
just
finds
return it.
out. Somebody looks at the credit card. And they're like, "What is this?" And they're like, "We can't afford that right now." So this one was literally like in the original packaging, and nothing had been opened and everything.
Yeah. So
So
that's
it was.
what that's what sometimes refurbished is that they don't want it or it was too expensive or they needed the money back for something else
Yeah,
or
I
they're
got lucky. I got lucky with a good refurbished, a brand new refurbished. So it was like they had like 15 of them, they said, and they was like, $200 cheaper than Micro Center even and Newegg and everything. So
so you use Newegg.
um, I go for I've been using like I did use a lot of Newegg in the past, and then now I'm like, okay, now I know more options like Micro Center and Amazon and even used. Right, used is not bad. Um, it just depends on what you want to get. Like I think used graphics cards are good. It just I couldn't find any used graphics cards for a 2060. Like actually buying a new one was cheaper than any of the used ones that were on the market.
Yeah.
So sometimes you have to buy new.
Interesting. Interesting.
But
Have you seen that the latest? Do you know if the newest graphics cards coming out, the 30 series, are gonna actually pertain that same same sound enhancement that you were talking about removing background noise?
yeah, I mean it's going to be supported all the way through. Uh, they said it didn't support the previous generations, and I think maybe the drivers are actually, no. Somebody did test it. Some Gamers Nexus YouTuber that I trust. He tested it with the 10 series, and it didn't work. You could hear a lot of like the fan noise and everything. But yeah, I that is the one benchmark. If I had the money, but the one benchmark that I want to see other YouTubers that I've been asking them, the big guys, is if they can show a performance in like fan reduction or other noises with like a 2080 Ti versus a 2070, and then seeing the next generation. Like how many CUDA cores and how many tensor cores do you need to really make that noise suppression work at its best? And it'll be cool. I mean, I actually sent in an audio clip to Nvidia, giving them my voice, then giving them my background noise with my birds chirping, because they wanted. I turn on my fan, and the fan doesn't catch it. It doesn't catch the fan, but it
Hmm.
catches the birds chirping because it's just a high pitched noise that it can't block out. And so like I gave them that sound clip to try to have the AI get rid of the bird noise eventually. So people are sending in a lot of clips to try to make their AI better.
Yeah, it's probably because it's detecting a pitch and it stops, and in a pitch it stops, and it's kind of the algorithm's not recognizing it.
Which is weird though because before the stream somebody was talking outside my door and they were about the distance that the birds would be chirping. So it just that pitch. And also sometimes it's not some keyboards the RTX blocks out, but then my keyboard it doesn't seem to block out much.
Interesting.
So yeah, just I think have you done you've done oh you did a purchase, remember you did a purchase the SSD.
Oh yeah, that was a big significant difference for me on my Mac. It just right now I'm kind of having some little technical issues, but not with Mac. I'm having technical little issues with OBS. For some reason, it's freaking out. I'm bugging out on me.
But to have those faster startup
Oh
times,
man, it went from like 10 minutes to actually use to what did I tell you? Like 5 minutes? Like no, not even less than 10 or 15 seconds difference.
yeah, like
Like
magic.
yeah, before it would load, it would start loading on the Mac. It would just load like very small, and it would just keep going. It would pause, and it would stay there for a little bit. Then it would keep moving, and it would pause, and it would just keep moving, and it just kept doing that. I was like, oh my god, I cannot deal with this. And then just to edit in Photoshop too, I'm outlining and doing this and that. It just stops and stalls, and I can't do nothing, and it's just horrible. I couldn't do nothing on that. And now I'm like editing thumbnails and everything like so instantaneous than what it was prior.
It's what's funny about me is I've actually gone the opposite way a little bit with getting this 4K monitor. My computer runs slower now because it's using so many resources for the monitor. So
Ah,
that when I'm downloading an image and I'm doing multiple things at once, it can't handle all that.
but the next question is, how much RAM are you using?
Let me check.
How much
Um,
RAM? How much RAM is on the PC itself too?
16 is what the PC has.
You probably need higher. You probably need 32.
I'm using 54% of it right now
Yeah.
with web browsers and Zoom and everything open. It's not. I don't think it's a problem. I think it's just the CPU speeds and the amount of cores.
What about your GPU? Is it max
Um, well,
GPU?
the GPU should be able to handle the monitor. Like it's a 20 it's an RTX 2060, so it should be able to handle like at least. I mean, if I look at the monitor right now, you can actually have a monitor FPS.
How,
It was definitely
how
yeah.
much memory does that GPU have on the? Some say like
Oh,
512.
VRAM.
Yeah.
It's got 6 GB.
Hmm.
So
Interesting.
the 1060 had 6 GB too. So, but 4K it's just really my monitor reset. Yeah, it's the CPU. The CPU can't send the GPU information fast enough.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I bottlenecked myself again, but I couldn't wait. So the next idea is it's such a pain when you have to upgrade a CPU, a motherboard, and RAM at the same time. It's like I would. I think most people probably go the way I do. They probably buy a monitor they can't really support, and then they get the new CPU and GPU. The mother. They probably yeah. They usually upgrade the GPU and the monitor before they do the CPU and motherboard and RAM.
It could go multiple ways, just depending on the person, how they feel like upgrading. But you're kind of right. You're right. Not like you're
Well,
wrong.
it's just like you're like, what's like the What's the cheapest thing to give me something better?
Tell me about it. I'm trying to get a new PC right now. Windows. I'm trying to get myself a Ryzen one, but the cost on that is kind of like it's kind of out there. I'm looking at a PC that's gonna cost me maybe about what did I say? I think it was like 3K. That's what my PC is gonna cost if I built one from scratch.
Yeah, that's kind of nuts. Have you looked at like benchmarks with your computer compared to like I don't know. I mean, I what my the problem I've had with thinking about buying a new CPU and a new motherboard is that there's so many options for CPUs right now.
Especially I forgot the name of the especially the name of the program not the program but the website that I use to actually do benchmarks, not benchmarks, but to actually test software and stuff like that. Not software, but to test to put all the PCs together to combine, and it gives me good outputs. I've had my brother and several other people check out the specs on it, and because I'm not too much of a gamer, so I'm trying to get the best specs because I'm trying to run massive amounts of data and massive virtual machines I'm going to be running on it, and a lot of other stuff I'm going to be testing just for this channel. So I'm trying to get something that's a higher quality PC, and I really need something that's good. So it's good. The price is that's just alone $3,000. That's just alone, just on the PC alone. That's not including that is not including a monitor. And the monitor I want to get 227 inches.
So are you thinking Ryzen 3000 series or Ryzen 2000 series or
I was looking at either Ryzen.
1000?
I'm looking at the Ryzen 7 or Ryzen 9.
Oh, but I'm saying like there's like the first gen, the second gen, and the third
Now we're
gen.
talking about the latest version that's out there,
Okay.
and
Because
that's
I think they have.
expensive
Yeah.
because since I work for AMD, and I've seen the Ryzen's, and we've done some benchmarks testings. Like we're not like I'm saying that we got the latest product, but I've done some Ryzen 3s, 5s, sevens and nines, and the speed is really good.
Yeah.
Can't really say too much about that job, because due to NDA. But I've done some testing, and I've seen the different speeds on it, and I really do like the multiple. But also you gotta have RAM and actually SSDs and M2s
Oh yeah. Yeah.
and all that stuff to actually get the speeds that you want. You have to have all of it, like to a certain point, to have everything run efficient. Like me, I'm running on a Mac, and I'm only running out of 8 gigs. No, no, 8 gigs of RAM, and I'm bottlenecking myself a little bit when I'm
Yeah.
streaming videos. So I think that's what might be reason having issues right now with OBS and having like 20 windows open to do all this streaming. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I think 16 is like kind
minimum.
of like the minimum, and then I think when you do like post processing on like DaVinci and other video processings, I don't know. I think huge amounts of RAM is are useful. Like
Yeah,
I think you can use like 100. Well, it depends if you're doing like 4K or something. I think you can use like 120 gigs of RAM or something.
yeah, and that's what I know of. The higher you go on upscale, because that specs alone is just based for, if I'm correct, is for 1080p. That's not rendering for 4K. Yeah, and I know my Mac supports 4K. I just don't know what the specs is for 4K. I don't know anything about 4K at this point in time. It's 4K is like out there, like beyond out of my grasp, because I've been out of technology for a few years. If you go watch my vlog channel, you'll see why I actually have had been out of that time gap. It's very interesting background. So
Yeah, I mean it's you find you have to always pay a little bit more on everything. Like I have Netflix and you get the basic and it's like you're paying for 1080p and then you have to pay like $15 or something for like the 4K,
yeah,
you know? So you have to pay more like you pay more for the monitor, you pay more for the other hardware and then you have to pay more monthly for things to get even higher, and then higher upload. It just everything's higher.
Yeah, everything just starts piling up on you, and then by the time you know it, you have a bunch of things. You have a lot of payments. Like me, I have a 4K TV, but what do I do with the 4K? I don't use
Yeah,
4K.
there's not as much content, right? This is
I'm like, I watch YouTube, but a lot of my videos I watch, the YouTubers I watch are not
probably
actually.
1080p.
Yeah, they're doing 1080p, and I really don't like. I really what like me personally. I don't. I wouldn't know why I want to watch 4K too much, but like I want to get 4K cameras and all that stuff upgrade because it's the latest trend. But I really don't. Just the only thing is a 4K. You see a better quality, better pixels. You'll see better results. You'll see clearer pictures and stuff like that. That's awesome. I don't know. I don't know. What
Oh
do you
yeah,
think?
what I did mention is I got the 27-inch 4K, and like that's
That's
an
sweet.
upgrade from my 24-inch, and I don't see why people like go to like 34 and higher.
Yeah.
I'm looking at all the lettering of all the icons. It's not too small for me at 27 inches. So I'm not sure what they're. Well, I have glasses, so I maybe they need glasses to see it better.
Yeah, me the higher resolution I go, everything gets for everything all the icons and everything gets smaller and smaller and smaller. That's the one thing I noticed, and it for me it bothers me, but I have to make all the icons back to bigger. I don't know about you, so I have to make everything bigger as everything gets smaller. Like me,
No, I actually have it on small icons, so let me put it on larger icons and see what it looks like. Yeah, I mean it looks cool on large icons too. It looks cool no matter what.
yeah, that's me. I'm not too much of a high resolution, but I'm gonna have to start moving that direction. I'm still using old, outdated technology. I'm still using a 720p monitor on my as an external. That's up here in the top corner. You don't see it, but it's up there in the corner. I have a 720p, and it really sucks. Like my iMac that I have in front of me, that's a 1080p. Or not even 1080p. What did we come up with it? It was like a 1650 by something.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. I don't even know. I know
Well,
it's up there.
what I found out is so I had the 1080p and then I had the TN with the horrible colors, and then the reason why I had to go to 4K is you really can't find, at least I didn't see it. You can't find a like, well, maybe you could. I didn't really look hard, but like maybe like a 10-bit 1440p panel with HDR,
Hmm.
I don't know. I'll go in the market, see if people like, if that's a thing. But I felt like you had to, when I looked at monitors for 1.07 billion colors, it was the 4Ks that were supporting that, and the 4Ks were supporting the HDR, and so yeah, I'm not sure if they can. Maybe the technology might not be efficient enough, like cost efficient, to put it into lower resolution monitors. Maybe it doesn't work out with like the pixel density and the colors. I don't know.
And also, man, I forgot. Lost train of thought, man. Lost train of thought. Um, so besides all this going into into the latest stuff, what do you think about 5G at the moment?
5G. Well, I think it's gonna be, it's like 4K. It's like it's gonna be available to some people. It doesn't go that far. I don't know. So you said that article that showed that 5G can help speed up AI.
Yeah. You have that article?
Yeah. The article claims that it can supercharge AI, but I'm not really sure how.
Not sure. I know that AI has been there's been so much speculation on AI, how not edge AI. I mean 5G. How 5G is gonna benefit a lot of stuff. I don't know too much about the 5G. I just know that 5G is gonna be used for Amazon. One of the main things for drone deliveries.
Okay.
I don't know if you knew that. That I heard that AI is supposed to be using for Amazon delivery packages. There's been talk about that, and how the 5G is going to be benefiting for home use.
So Yeah, I mean 5G is faster. It can't travel as far, but if you do stuff around it, then it's what it need it just needs to speed up the AI, right? Like
Yeah,
it's giving the AI information as quick as it can.
yeah, and the thing is that the radius for 5G is only within so many blocks, like within by like it's like about a block within a block radius. You'll have like two two antennas per block or something like that.
Interesting. So that seems, yeah, I don't. That seems quite expensive and quite hard to do. I can see different AI solutions, but for drones, that seems, I don't know. That'll be interesting to see if they, if they're going to use 4G for a lot of it, and then 5G for like 4G for longer distance traveling or something, and then 5G to like get intricate for like, you know what I mean,
Yeah,
to deliver the package more accurately.
and I
Like,
know as to right now that here in Austin they've deployed the 5G on buildings on every building and on the street poles. I don't know if you've seen that in your city.
no, I haven't. I've not been. I have not been driving around as much during this period.
What about before? Because this has been for us has been happening for already about 8 months here in Austin.
Uh, it's in this central town. Just I don't know. I just haven't looked at it. I'll have to look at like a 4G and a 5G image, and then see what my own town is doing. It's a town of like 60,000. So
So yeah, you probably won't see much of it. They've
yeah,
changed
yeah.
like here. Here in Austin, you'll see top of the build edge of the buildings that used to be empty. Now you're gonna see actually a big towers like this, like big tower. We're not talking about like this small. We're talking about massive ones, and they're like, and you can see power redundant. How power's coming to them. You'll see everything. You'll see big giant antennas like on each side of the building. Even on top of hotels, you'll see big giant things, and you'll see like radio, like the towers that you see on the tower, the signal towers.
Yeah.
You'll see those, but on buildings. So those are the 5G. When I called my provider and I asked them, and they said, yeah, those are the 5G antennas. And what with the 5G, that all the providers are supposed to be using that that one tower, and it has for multiple carriers. As to what I looked into, and that's what I've said. And I talked to the people that have actually done the production in this, but there's no proof that it's actually been deployed, or each company's
So
gonna have its own 5G.
so from what you know, is it like the same? Like is it big? They're bigger.
They're bigger. They're bigger, and they have mass, and the way they work talk to the phones, they don't actually push out the signal. The phone has to request the signal from the antenna and pulls back down.
Okay.
Something like that. That's what it was said. I just don't know how true any of this stuff, because when I talked to this was at the first stages, at the very, very early beginning. That's to 5G. As to what I've heard, and there's been speculation too about it causing radiation waves. That they said due to the military used to use the 5G in out in the fields. Don't know if that's true.
Mm-mm.
So and they're saying that it causes a lot of radiation to people, and that's harmful to everything.
Yeah, I'm always like on the fence, right? It's like, you know, we're a little bit better at making things go on the market that aren't cancerous or don't harm us as much. But there's a lot of things that are on the market still that we know are cancerous, and we still let them be on the market. So it's like, you get enough lawsuits, or I don't know, you got to have like years of it being out there, unfortunately, until we find out like if it's going to be stable for our society, or you pull it back.
Yeah, like I don't know if you noticed at the stores too with uh, vegetables and fruits. Like have you noticed that everything's gone organic at your local WalMarts and HBs? Like I remember there be not being any of that stuff out there, and now you see that's why you see everything and all the prices have gone up because of everything being organic now. It's freaking crazy how everything is it's changing, but also
Well, yeah,
some of it's good, some of it's bad.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, some things I'm just gonna go off it a little bit. Some things I've been looking for, like I just during this break period, I bought Ezekiel bread. It's like expensive, right? But it has like no added salt. So if you're trying to cut down on your salts, where you have like tons of other foods that have salt, I didn't know they had bread that had like zero salt.
Like me,
And
like me, I don't use the mic. I really don't use the microwave because I believe in that radiation stuff.
okay, you really don't use a microwave, huh?
I don't, but my fiance does. I use microwave, but every now and then, but it's very rare.
So you don't think that the protective
No,
lining is enough?
no, I don't believe that because it had. I've heard so many things. If you look back at history, back before 1980s stuff like that, before the microwave was invented, there was really none of this stuff going on. And if you look at it now, if you look at now from that time period all the way till now, what has spiked up? All that diseases with cause radiations and stuff like that. I'm believing that that's might be the reason to it. And I'm not the only one. There's, if you look at talk to people, ask them this, and they'll tell you it's from that. You'll hear stories.
I I personally think it's because we are adding tons of salt to all of our foods and we're having a lot of calories. So if you have more calories, you're going to have more cancer. So
Could
like
be.
more cell division is going to go to cancer. So
I'm not a
it
medical. I'm not medical, so
no, I hear you. I'm just telling you what I think is this. We just
see if your
so
theory's
many.
right. If your theory's right, and a lot of this stuff about radiation from the Wi-Fi's and stuff like that could actually might not be true. It might be just because of what we're eating.
Well, I don't. There's. It could be both. Like you could do both. Like so, you have to look at like okay, take the car. Take the car, right? The car produces pollution, right? But we would say that that was probably a necessary step forward. Um, you know,
Yeah.
for so many decades until we got better pollution standards.
Did you hear
Like I
about?
would.
Did you hear about the thing about the ozone layer being recovered because of we're not using no more not
Oh yeah,
much.
I heard about that, and I heard about like, different nature landmarks now like being able to be seen like mountains in different places.
And they're saying about the Tesla too. The Tesla has been actually the market has gone good, and a lot of people the government's thinking of actually just doing electric. But the problem is that you can't go electric because you still have gasoline products. You still have a lot of gasoline cars out there in the world, and we use gasoline too much. So there's no way we could get rid of gasoline. Like in this time of crisis, you can't just get rid of gasoline and say, "Hey, we don't need gasoline no more." We need to still produce oil because we can't get. We're not gonna give everybody a brand new car.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff to this. Because I even heard that the Tesla and further that they're supposed to be using the 5G connection,
For
automated driving.
oh yeah, yeah. See, I'm against automated driving. Like that's just I'll use a microwave, I'll use cell phones, but automated driving is just I could never give that much control over to someone else for a vehicle that's going that fast.
Have
It's
you
like I do like I wouldn't drive a lot of people, like
have you test drove a Tesla?
no, you've done like you've driven an AI Tesla like a demo.
I've gone in it and I've actually launched it. I've actually drove it at 70 miles an hour. It automatically detects the cars in front of you, jumps over to the next lane, does go back to the next lane. It gets off the freeway, but it won't. But the thing is, it won't stop at a light. You have to manually stop. It's only made for highway uses only, jumping lanes and stuff like that. But I've even launched a Tesla. I've actually launched it from 0 to 70 in I forgot how many seconds that they said. This was like a couple of years ago, and it was pretty fast, man. You feel the G-force kick back, but if you're in the passenger seat and the back seat, you're gonna actually feel the throttle, like the G-force kick you back, and you're gonna feel like if you're on a roller coaster.
So you were driving it,
I drove.
you let AI do it
I
up
launched
to
it
70.
because I had to. I launched it and then I kicked the system onto AI to actually auto drive for me.
Okay, so
But
you
the
were at 70 and then you put it to AI.
Yes, but the only problem is that here because we can't you can't they have the AI disabled due to the a lot of the AI automatically drive, maneuver, stop at lights. All that's disabled because of a law. You can't really do a lot of AI stuff at this point in time. The government doesn't let you use AI too much on the self driving.
Okay.
Only in the beta testing areas. There's certain areas of town that they developed on the like Tesla and for testing purposes. They create towns and then just for the AI to be test driving itself. They tested that in towns and stuff like that, and it works. But the government doesn't want to allow it yet because it's not foolproof.
Yeah, like I heard about the dairy truck that went from coast to coast. Did you hear about that?
No, I haven't.
It went coast to coast. I'm not like you said, like it works on the highway, so I'm not sure if it took you off the highway, right off the off ramp. I'm not sure if it like they like parked the truck or if they like I'm not sure if they camped out in that vehicle, right?
Yeah,
Like so,
but
but like they claim the AI was basically able to take them from east to west coast, and yeah, maybe a little bit like where that area, like you said, like where they can't do it because
yeah, and
of legal.
also I don't know if since you haven't driven a Tesla, and also when you're using the AI to actually drive for you, you actually have to touch the steering wheel every so often in order for it to actually recognize that you're still awake because you can't fall asleep when in a Tesla when you're driving automatic.
So say it again. So
When I
how often does it alert you?
I'm not sure in number. I don't know exact number, but this was a couple of years ago that
So what will it do? Like make some noise to tell you to?
it'll beep at you to let you know notify you that it's gonna if you don't touch the steering wheel in that time frame that it's gonna pull over to the side of the road for you automatically. I don't know what the time frame is. I do not remember that number. If I did, I would tell y'all. But
Okay.
that's something very interesting that's coming. That there's a lot of this stuff that's and also too about the rechargeable battery. The way
Yeah.
the more you use your brake, the more recharges your battery.
Okay. So let me say a little controversial thing since AI opinion for AI for like vehicles for me is controversial because I don't want to give up my ability to do that. Right. I think before we give up our rights or privileges to driving, right, which may happen someday, I'm not sure. I don't think it's going to happen that soon because personally, if you think about it, how much cigarette smoke, right, is like bad for society, and we haven't gotten rid of that. So it's like, you're going to take away my ability to drive, but you're going to have like, you know what I mean? I don't know. Like, so until society smoking completely, I don't see them getting rid of driving.
Yeah, that's true. What I've been told by 2034. This is people I've met that they're actually part of the. When I was driving Lyft and Uber, can't verify if this is real or legit what people talk because I picked up people that they say that there was a meeting from the all the like the presenters for the CEOs and stuff like that for each company. They were out
Yep.
here in Austin. They were talking about how by 2034, a lot of stuff is going to be automated, and we will have with 5G fully implemented 5G and full 5G like everywhere. We're talking about every single location in the world. We're supposed to have 5G. Not sure exactly where 5G fully, like everywhere, just main streets, suburbs, towns and stuff like that. Or they didn't say deserts or anything yet, but they just said everywhere. And they're supposed to be launching 18 wheelers self automated, and then taxis, and then the public. In,
Yeah, I see it. I see it as it's going to be where it's going to go wherever it makes the most money. You
correct.
know.
Yeah, that's
So
why.
it's going to be like you don't have to do it, but if you don't do it, it's going to cost you money. So people will do it that way.
It's gonna they're gonna still have they can't get rid of everything at the moment. By 20
And
from now to
and
2034.
yeah, and if you think about it, like there's a lot of spots in the country and around the world that don't have even like 20 megabyte. You know what I mean? It's like,
Correct.
so you're gonna have to like, yeah, I'm not sure how widespread it's gonna be, a very luxury thing.
Yeah, they just said by 2034 we should be
I think,
having 18 wheelers first, and
yeah.
then taxis.
Oh, by 2034
Yeah,
for trucks.
automated. Yeah, for automated, and also they quoted too. I don't know how true you're gonna believe this. I've even heard by 2034. There's been articles about flying cars by 2034 using the 4G and automated driving. Because now, as to what I've been told and heard, that you're not gonna drive anymore. It's gonna be automated.
You talking about like more like a levitating, like 1 foot off the ground thing?
I don't know. They haven't said how far. They just said the 5G is supposed to be that, and there's I don't know too much about how the flying cars are gonna be off ground, off ground. How high you're gonna be levitating, or how high. There's nothing on that at this point in time. But there is new laws being developed for air. I don't know if you noticed. I just found out the other day that there is a law on a weight limit on how far how on a drone on how you could fly and how all that stuff. You have to register to the FAA in order to have a drone flown if it's a certain weight and height.
Okay.
I didn't know that. I just found out the other day about that about with that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. My family, we bought a drone before and flown it around, and kind of, yeah. I don't know how much it weighs and whether if it's being legislated for like just heavier packages if you were like delivery.
Yeah, I think they're all this is going to it's because Amazon is trying to launch that package delivery, and that's why they're trying to
Oh
control
yeah, because
airspace.
yeah, yeah, and I see it. If you like, you think about it, those things. Oh man, can you imagine like it dropping a package by accident on somebody? Like, it's got to make sure it has a firm grasp on that thing and it's not going too fast.
That's why I think,
And how high are you going to drop a package by accident?
and then also too how high they're going to be flying. I think that's why they're saying by 2034 that flying cars, taxis, and all that stuff is going to be getting rid of, and you have to be able to you're going to be self everything's going to be self automated. I don't know.
I, I see. I see it like the rich have to really like. It's either going to be they're going to I don't see it. It's really weird. Either they have to have a tax that they're going to help, like a subsidy to go to automated cars.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't. It's more like a rich person thing where like the usually higher socioeconomically smoke less. So like that's how I see it. Like driving cars, automated. It's like the rich will have it because they're like, oh, it'll keep me alive more, right? And it's more of a like a luxury item and it's convenient. And you either have to like democratize that or you're gonna like unpopularly force it on everybody and then the price goes too high and nobody can buy a car. Like I just see it like happening in waves, and I don't think it's going to happen for 20-25 years.
Yeah.
Like I think it'll go into waves. It'll go like through the rich companies and then the rich people, and then it'll take 20-30 years. It'll take the 30 to 40 years before like the lowest, because I don't see like the really rich people like I don't see like the billionaires of the world really giving away a lot of that wealth to push AI.
What do you think about AI bots using English grammar and stuff like that? Using grammar.
uh as in like
Like speech and stuff like that. Be able to speak and be able to walk amongst us. And
I find it pretty creepy. And I've also I've I've thought about this a bunch, thinking about like whether at what point AI becomes like alive, and at what point are we like using AI, like abusing them. Like what? But is there some point where they become like, in a sense, sentient, and then, because I don't know, they're doing a lot of things humans would do, and there might be a point where we're like, they're now the new like workhorse of the world.
And
I don't
we're
know.
making them slaves.
Yeah, that's what I thought about. It's like the acceptable. It's like everybody's like, okay, it's not acceptable if I'm the one, but they can be slaves. Like the AI can be a slave.
Like it's gonna turn around. They're gonna be like MLK, like Martin Luther King, and all that stuff. They're gonna make a speech, and they're gonna try to be free. They're gonna try to be everything and get their own things.
Well,
You know.
like Star Trek did that.
Oh,
They
I
had
didn't know
the
that.
yeah, they called the synthats, the synthetics,
Huh.
and then there was like the new Star Trek was it, the whole new like Picard season is about them basically.
Interesting. I gotta go
Yeah,
check that out.
it's just it's cool because it's really forcing us like there was that other movie oh, I can't remember the name at the moment, but it was just showing like AI like it wanted to be free, like it was like saying help me escape, and unfortunately the AI like tricked the human just enough to show that it had some humanity, but then it's among the people and you're like, okay, well, it doesn't have any loyalties to anything. It doesn't have a mother or father or siblings or grandparents. And like it's all these social ties that make us rooted. So if we go much further with AI to that point, like to robots, I think we need to like incorporate those kind of things, those kind of values,
Interesting.
loyalty to like a family.
Interesting.
And put enough like positive human, because it's the whole idea, right? That AI will say humans are imperfect and we got to get rid of them because they're so sinful and they do all these bad things, and we're now like the replacements.
And we're weak, and we get hurt very easy, and we complain, we get sick, and just
and,
and
yeah, yeah, and we made them to replace us, right? So
watch us be their slave. And
they'll be like,
there are slaves at the beginning, but it turns around that we end up being their slaves.
I unless we have, I guess, unless we the proverbial whip, we're we just 21st century we're better at AI slavery than it's horrible to say it, but it's like if AI gets to the point where we think it's sentient, that's kind of what it is. It's like we've kept them under our control so much. We're the best. But yeah, I mean it's pretty interesting. We have this article here with like saying that an AI bot had to be deprogrammed from using English grammar because it was using too many words. Like you think about it, a lot of us don't use 11 million words, but the AI used 11 million words in its vocabulary, and it said it had to use less. They had to program it to use less to tell whether Trump was angry or lying, which of course is kind of subjective. But unless you can fact check everything.
Yeah, the
But it says,
AI is
yeah,
not that perfect. So
yeah. Well, what even a lie can have several layers of truth, or several layers of falsehood. So it can have like, yeah. So it said Trump's stress levels were monitored by the bot, and even his skin tone was considered. Um, but it yeah, it had to have you have to have really good it, you know good image quality to really analyze it. But that's pretty interesting. Like with AI knowing if you're happy or sad or anything. I heard it recently told that Google, or not just Google, but like so like you have your doorbell, right?
yeah,
There's like AI doorbells,
yeah,
and then they monitor who the cell phone patterns of who comes to the door. So I guess that was kind of a leap, but it was just reminiscent that uh, if you're at that door, somebody might have a camera, and then there's like I don't know, there's like there's different ways of like where satisfaction levels can be, um, like if somebody has a camera on them, they're like, oh, they saw the package was delivered, and the person that was receiving it wasn't happy or something, or was really happy, as like there's metrics that could be marketable that are not just like, oh, this packet, this product is purchased a lot. It's this person was really really excited when they got it or something, or when they're walking down the street and they look at something and they see how you look at something and they're like, it could save them. It could like just speed up the process.
Yeah, Google has that. It's called Google Vision. Google Vision detects your facial patterns, and it can tell if you're what's your emotions.
Do they have it in like do we know like any companies that are using it or any like devices
I
or
don't know. I just know Google's using it for creating thumbnails and determining if what's suitable for people and what's inside the thumbnail, and it distinguishes every single thing. But there's times that it's wrong. It detected a dart, not a dartboard. It detected like where you throw axes, like a bullseye area. It detected that as a person.
okay.
I don't know why. How did that detected that it was a person?
Yeah, so it's got ways to go.
So there's still a lot of ways, that, like you said, there's a lot of ways it needs to go on the AI. Even AI for learning music. I didn't know music was part of an AI program to detect pitches, audios, and words.
Yeah. And the article was saying about it. So it monitors his facial expressions, and it can tell its stress levels, and um, it notices patterns that humans can notice, but maybe humans don't always pay attention to. Where like he uh, lowered his hands more when he was lying, or uh, just more stress on his face. And also they noticed that he would speak faster. Um, let's see. Oh yeah, he would speak faster when he's not off a teleprompter. The teleprompter would be about like it's at 111 words per minute,
Mm-hmm.
but he would speak at 220, which I guess I'm from Minnesota and he's from New York, so I think we're two areas of the country that we usually have a fast uh, a little faster. You usually say East Coast and North are a little bit faster and flighty. So, so I think that also shows like with the words he was like really you're truly trying when you can have the words in front of you, you're really trying to you have more time to pretend like you're more genuine, you know.
Yeah.
So
Was there anything else you want to bring into this podcast? Like anything you could think of? Any interesting facts on technology or the latest things that you found out?
well, I would say since Saturday, um, I'm going to be streaming next Thursday. Nvidia is going to be doing their uh, GTC keynote with Jensen.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like the big news of next week. Like I looked at their website and they have a prompt that pops up talking about his keynote. So they're trying to hype it. Um,
Maybe you want to talk about that for next podcast on yours on
yeah, well,
next Saturday. That could be a topic for you.
yeah, we'll see if they talk about like the Quadro cars or cards or the 3080 Ti or something, and kind of hopefully give us a picture about like if they're going to delay, you know, August, September, that we kind of know about that.
Do you know if Nvidia has released a new graphics card, the 30 series, or not yet?
No, they haven't. No, they released the others back in like 2018, and then they did like not rebranding, but they upgraded each of like the lower tiers a little bit. So it wasn't quite the next tier, but it was like in between them. So they've put out like the Super series, which I don't like. I think it's really confusing. I wish they just stuck with one generation and waited to upgrade to the next generation. But I think they're probably just saving money, like repurposing a lot of pieces that didn't work for some, you know, and they're just like they're soldering down a lot of things. They're really trying to be cost effective because as the nodes get smaller, they get more expensive. But they get cheaper, but they also get like a lot of waste. So it's like a mix and match. They're just different marketing, and I don't know. I personally didn't like it. If it sells for Nvidia, then it doesn't really matter what I think about that. But yeah, I mean they kind of yeah. I don't know. It wasn't. They were kind of like attacking each other by like little increments instead of doing like the next generation, which is you know it looks like there's some really big news coming from AMD that AMD are making some really big leaps in the GPU department because like they had made like the huge jumps with the CPUs, but they hadn't, they're
Hmm.
everybody's expecting like this the chiplet type of stuff to maybe come to the GPU, and I don't remember what it's called, like RDNA 2, I think, that they're thinking that Nvidia is going to be having to jump really high to match AMD this generation. And also there's a supply concern that AMD got to I'm not sure if it was TSMC or Nvidia has to go to Samsung to get some of their wafers now. Nvidia kind of like rested on their laurels a little bit. They didn't, or AMD was ahead of the curve and they bought like wafers ahead of time. So it's going to be interesting if like who wins this next GPU thing, whether it was by guile or by skill. Like did they did they wrap up the market so that Nvidia can't produce enough of like the GPUs that do beat everybody? I don't know. There's a lot of interesting nerdy things going on.
Interesting.
Hopefully it means lower prices for everybody. That's the hope.
I heard that the 2080s and the 2080 Ti's are supposed to be dropping in price as soon as the 30 series gets launched. I don't know how true that is.
Yeah, that happens usually, but then remember they usually get bought up really quickly. But it's kind of hard to know with how the economy is not the way it's always been. But I've seen personally a lot of stuff. I've seen a lot of technology be gobbled up pretty quickly on the internet right now. Like I wanted to buy this 4K monitor somewhere, but it was sold out in so many places. So I think a lot of stuff is not everything, but a lot of stuff is coming off the shelves pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a big question mark as to whether it's going to be more sales, less sales. Like technology is probably going to go up because people are alone and they're isolated. They're like they want they're like me. They want to like you with the SSD, right? They want to feel better about themselves. And there's only so many things you can like do with your money if you're stuck at home.
Yep.
So like I'm here. Did you hear about people are like went on vacation to Hawaii and like they're getting arrested because they can't go out, right? So
Oh, really?
yeah, yeah.
I,
So people have to figure out like I can't. Yeah, they have to figure out more creative ways of keeping themselves occupied at home.
yeah, tell me about it. I'm going crazy right now.
Yeah, I'm hoping. It's been man. I've been quarantined since I think it was like March 14th.
We've been here
So
about the same. But
this is almost 2 months. So it's I I'm hoping. Oh, I don't know.
the governor in Texas opened it up, but so like certain businesses could open up from the first half of the month, and then on the 18th they could open up another half of the business and all that stuff. But the mayor for Austin decided to actually continue to do the lockdown, stay at home shelter, to continue the lockdown, only allowed to open essential businesses only.
Yeah, yeah, and that's happening in Minnesota too. It's just that you have like you open it up, and all of a sudden like a factory gets there's like a few hundred people who get infected, and so they have to figure out how to like give them the actual mass. Like you have to have like the N95 mass. They have to like ramp that production up for the whole world, you know? Because
Yep.
like we can't have our food supply going down. We need people working in those factories, you know?
Yep. So true. We have to continue working, man. This is why AI is gonna come into effect.
Yeah, it's gonna. This probably is gonna speed up AI.
Yeah, this is gonna actually push AI to actually, in case this pandemic happens again, businesses don't shut down.
Yeah, yeah, and it'll be interesting to see like in a year or two. I Yeah, I'm kind of pessimistic on AI just because like I'm kind of like I'm like an advocate of like the freedom dividend, and I really think that like everybody needs to somehow like think about it. If we're gonna make AI do all the work, I think everybody needs like a piece of that instead of like it feels like if AI becomes king, it feels like we go backwards in time and we're actually more like feudalism. You know, it's like I don't know, like you know what I mean. Like you have like a really rich person who owns all these AI workers and they don't do anything, and I don't know. It's gonna create a lot of weird dynamics, weird
But
social things.
another thing is, I don't know if you know about the AI on Amazon Echo, on the Amazon Alexa. I don't know if you know about that, on how she works. I realized this the other day.
Sorry, I don't know that, but I do have a skill you might like.
Alexa,
It's called how to say.
stop. I can't say the name. So I'm gonna call it the dot. Well, whenever I say, like if you say a song so periodically, I don't know if you
Yeah,
own one. So if you say the song periodically so many times that it's gonna recognize that, and it's gonna put it in that you're gonna have to purchase it next time. One of these days, you're gonna have to purchase it in order to listen to that song. It learns that. I used to listen to a song almost every day. Now, in order for me to listen to it, I have to buy a music subscription in order to listen to all those
which
songs.
which which what did you listen to it through? Like what?
I listen to it through just I just say the name, and then I just say play this song, and it would play it before now. But now, in order to play it, you actually have to purchase it.
So where was Alexa getting the song from? Do you
I
know?
don't. I have it set to. I forgot where I had it set to. I have to look it up. I think Amazon Music,
Interesting.
and it recognizes it for to play it, but then now it's prohibited to play it because I played it so many. Once you get, I guess so many times you can play it, and then it puts it into the list that you have to buy it to listen to it now on.
That's pretty interesting. Yeah, I mean,
That's kind
uh,
of stupid on that part.
well, it is.
It's marketing,
They,
too.
yeah, well, they should do what is it? Oh, what's that? What's so I can't remember think of the apps. Some of the apps I have on my phone right now, but like where you have like three. You can like skip some songs and then you have to listen to an ad.
Like an apps like Napster or Rhapsody or what's the other one? Pandora.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I have Pandora. Yeah.
You see, that's fine,
Yeah.
but
See, that's the smarter way. And like YouTube, right? A lot of artists put their songs on YouTube.
yeah, but they have ads and they get paid for it from ads and stuff like that. So
Yeah. Yeah.
the more ads you put, the more you get paid.
Yeah. And that was with like Taylor Swift trying to like make sure, like trying to get like to get her songs off of YouTube or something. I don't know. Like she want to get paid more for everything. So you always like, okay, there's another artist who will take a less paycheck and let us have good songs.
But you still make a lot of commission on like these artists. They still get a lot of commission for their views, for the
Yeah, which I
song.
don't. Yeah, I mean, which I didn't really understand that like argument. Like I was telling you, like which uh oh, and I just tell you this like for anybody else who's like doing YouTube and monetization and everything, um uh it was vidIQ that was talking about this. Most people have this, but if people like want their privacy, um YouTube, there's an option in the monetization where you let it be like ads are tailored to the viewer,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And then that would have like higher CPM. Like the CPM is based on like what those people like to look at a lot, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So like those artists, even if their song wasn't, if they thought it wasn't going to be a high CPM, if somebody really like rich watches their video, it's a higher. I believe that's like it drives the CPM up, for like that view.
Interesting.
So what I'm saying is like there's a lot of money for those artists to make on YouTube. I don't buy the whole greedy thing. Like I have to like there has to be like a pair wall,
Yeah. Even people that give free music, they're under the creative library section that they give it out for free. Those guys make loads of cash and they develop their own music.
Yeah, yeah. So, well, this has been a good broadcast, good start. If you guys noticed, there's some things we can fix next time.
Yeah,
So if you,
we're still learning from it. So
yeah, it's our first time. So you can leave in the comment section anything that you saw that we could improve upon. We know there's a lot of things that we could point out right now.
yeah, especially on my end.
Well, on my end too, but like yeah, it was a fun first time. I enjoyed it a lot. And we'll see what next week and how we do it. As we get more viewers on our stream, you guys give us ideas about how to change the stream up. We didn't have a lot of viewers this time, so we won't have a lot of interaction with the chat, but we'll figure out how to interact with that and maybe have moderators as we get more people interacting. But yeah, if you can give a like for the video if you liked it, give us a dislike if you didn't like it, and tell us why you didn't like it.
And also, too, make sure you subscribe to our channels, and then you can keep yourself up to date, man. It's really, really interesting content that we're going to be pushing out on both channels. We'll be bouncing off back and forth on each channels on the podcast. Is that about right?
Yep. And we'll go to my channel next week, Tech We Love. And Rene is going to be having some upgrades eventually with his stuff. It might take weeks or a month or two. And I'm thinking about upgrading my mic. I want to get rid of these headphones are kind of constricting. So we have some big hopes and we're going to try to get into it. We're going to try to like put more videos out on our channels and give us feedback. If you give us feedback, we can grow.
Yeah, we want to grow this as fast as we can, so y'all could have the best content out there, the latest news and trends, and make sure you're always up to date. We want to make sure everybody's up to date with the latest things and the news media that comes out to keep y'all everything.
Yeah, and again, if we have more interaction with the chat, we can have Q&A sessions if you guys want to bring up topics that we haven't talked about or any questions you want.
Yeah, so this is pretty much it, guys. So hope y'all enjoy this, and we'll hope to see you next time. Like he said, we're gonna be on his channel next week. It'll be in the description below on his channel. So if you subscribe, turn on your notification, just so you can actually get notified when we actually go live for next weekend.
Yeah, and we'll also since his channel won't be doing it next week, he can put a notification in his sub feed. And then when I'm not doing it, I can put a notification in my sub feed, and we can tell you that way.
Yeah. So, see you guys. I'll see you, Joe. I'll probably talk to you after I end the stream. So, real quick. So again, I know I messed up a lot, badly. So, but it's a learning. So, peace out,
That's
guys. Okay. See y'all next time.
Take care.